Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for...
Excuse me while I whip this out. Show me.
Broadcasting live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
You may build me up, yeah, can you build me up, yeah, you won't break me down, I've come so far, yeah, I've come so far, yeah, just throw in the towel, it's a new day, I'm a do it, yeah, I'm gonna go all the way, you may build me up.
Welcome. It is Monday morning. You're listening to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. They make me say that every time. It's almost become an unconscious thing. I'm going to start off some other way one day. Like, yes, Diane, I am a transformer. What about that? No, I'm not a transformer. I can't be a It's funny. We're going to talk about that. It's just funny that if I say I want to be a transformer, you want to put me on medication. But if I want to be a woman, I get applause, a TV show, endorsements. I don't know. Just always remember that in your back pocket. If you want to generate a little money, just be the other sex. You can make some money. But we're going to talk about that and much, much more. Big weekend in sports coming up. Great weekend of NBA action last week. Congratulations to myself and the coaches and the people in my hometown for putting on. Did you notice I said myself first, right? Yeah. Yeah. When you put in the bill, you should always put your name first. But I would like to thank everybody that came out. Great camp, kids galore at the camp. I'd like to thank Mike James and Russell Shepard for coming over from the Tampa Bay Bucks and helping me with the camp. I appreciate that as always. Had about 350 to 400 kids out. Great weather in Florida. Thank you, Mom, for getting cable. I appreciate that. I know it's 2015. That sounds strange to some of you. But thank you for the cable and your hospitality in Haines City, Florida. One PSA real quick before I bring on my co-host. Just want to make sure I do this to people. After the second time, and listen up, after that second time of trying to trigger a person to remember who you are, go ahead and say your name. Okay? I go home and some people I haven't seen in 20 years. And they just keep throwing them hints. You remember me? Bay brother. 4th grade. Mr. Wilson class. Oh, you don't remember me? Oh, look at you. No, just go ahead. Just after that second time, maybe the person just doesn't remember you, and if you tell them your name, it'll come back. But all the hints, the little cheese for the rat, I'm sorry. I don't know. I just thought I would let you. I know all of us everybody can relate to that. Whether you run into classmates or you run into, if you really want to know the truth, I didn't know you then, but please, especially when they the sister or the brother of the person that you actually knew, you was Lil Bay's sister. That's all you were. You were nobody other than that. I didn't know your name back then. Because that's how I would look at you. So just a little helpful hint next year or anytime. Just imagine that the person does not remember you at that time. Me, it could be because of hits to the head. My co-hosts, both of them are Willie Nelson fans. You'll figure that out later in the show. So you don't get it now. You'll get it by the end of the show. They are definitely have a collection of Willie Nelson's greatest hits. I heard that it really gets you there. Look at nobody. Look at Spencer Haywood. We got Spencer Haywood, not Spencer Haywood, the basketball player from the '70s, but from what my producers are saying in Big Kenny, it's Spencer Haywood Esquire. He has on a $2,500 Tom Ford suit, and we enticed him to come on the show today or in the studio with one of our young, soft and beautiful interns. Nothing goes to a man's heart, He is clean. I'm talking about casket. Where is the limo type clean? That type clean. But we are here. I have the truth in the building. I have my funny man, Big Kenny. We have a great show coming up today. Most of it is usual suspects. As you know, starting Thursday, this was probably one of the busiest weekends I can remember in recent history. The NFL draft, the fight that has been deemed the fight of the century. It's always funny. Every fight is the fight of the century. Between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Pretty Mayweather. We also have the Kentucky Derby. If you live here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Steam are playing. That's the Legends Football League. That's Saturday. I'm thinking about dipping in there and then going to see the Mayweather fight, something like that. I don't know. It's $90.
Yeah,
they've gone up on the price. So we have a great show for you. Warren Sapp begging in the interrogation room. What else do we have? We got some Brittany Griner. Hitting her girlfriend. Why isn't that domestic violence? We'll talk about that. I mean, same thing. Ray Rice got suspended, lost his job for what Brittany Griner did. I guess when a man does it, it's domestic violence. And when women do it, it's a cat fight. I guess that's how that goes. But we are here. It's Monday. Big Kenny, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Is your mic hot over there? Let's see. We've been having some technical difficulties. One of our producers is changing his religion, so he's converting from Catholicism to Judaism. Judaism. Are you already a Jew?
No.
Oh.
Why you gotta say it like that?
Why you gotta say it like that?
There's nothing wrong with being Jewish.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
L'chaim, I guess.
Barbecue ribs.
Good morning. Good morning.
That's how you say it in good morning.
Yeah.
Barbecue ribs.
Outstanding.
Good morning, True.
Good morning, Sports Joc.
Y'all ready?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, we're ready.
Had a fantastic weekend. Shout out to the brothers of New Epsilon in Huntsville, Alabama. Alabama A&M University. Had a great time with them this weekend. You said people come up to you with that remember me. That's probably why a lot of celebrities get security, to avoid those kind of moments. Because it gets, some people will take up your whole afternoon just dropping, but you got to develop a defense mechanism for it. Like people come up to me like, hey man, I saw you on TV. Do you remember me from school? And I'll be like, I'm on TV. Of course I don't remember you. You know what I mean?
I've got family.
Yeah, why would I even concern myself with you now?
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with
Well,
it.
I've always told you, one of my sisters, I never knew her full name or her real name. Her kids greeted me one day like Uncle Wayne, and I start sitting after they said it. I guess Uncle Wayne, no, we related. I'm like, I don't know your mom, but it turned out I was their uncle.
Right. Right.
So that's the kind of place I'm from. But
Right.
America.
Yeah, the rural areas of America. Where you,
it's rare that you run into a niece or nephew that you've never met.
Yeah.
That you're not even aware of. Uncle Wayne, how you doing? Hey, how are you, sir? You looking at this? How are you, Mister? What is your name?
Yeah, I want to hear more about that.
I will tell you this: when I went to pay for the rooms for the players to stay, and the check-in lady saw my name and she was like, "Oh, my daughter had a
Uh-oh.
child from a Gandy.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, well,
It ain't me.
she said, you think y'all related? And she went to pull out a picture. See how y'all favor? And he's a tall family, too. And I'm like, man, look.
But did y'all look alike?
This is why I don't stay at the Comfort Inn because I don't get harassed at the Intercontinental about no family members. So,
Because all the people working at the Intercontinental straight getting child support because they took it to court. You know what I mean? This girl, she's still trying to get hers off the side. Like, hey, Joe, you think I can get a couple dollars?
but the thing too, that concussion thing has really, everywhere I go, people, oddest places, they want to know. Are their children safe on the football field? So whatever powers that be that was trying to destroy football, the mission is going on. Because everywhere I go, what do you think I should do? I'm not going to let my son play. How are you feeling about it?
Has the attendance of the camp decreased any?
Yes.
Since all significant decrease or marked, recognizable? At what scale?
I'd say maybe 10%, 15%.
Wow.
Smaller.
And you contributed to that?
And I don't know if that because the league that the kids playing down there, that's really who comes to the camp. But maybe I have to check with them to see how many kids have stopped playing, even in a place where football is the thing to do. In my city, it's the number one thing for a boy to do. It's like you do football and then you do everything else. You know, so.
And what do you say when the moms ask?
About that, I just tell them the truth. I said, there's a lot of contributing factors to it. It's not just the football. Some of these people abuse drugs. Some of these people,
If your son's not a junkie, he may be all right.
But I'll answer more of that later in the show. We're going to go to break. 888-926-7562. We'll be back. Money Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao this Saturday. We're going to get all over that in just a second. We'll be back with more of the show in just a second.
It's time to present the Joc of the Week on the Sports Joc Show, where we highlight an exceptional athlete that has taken their game to the next level.
Chris Hip. I think the fight's going to live up to the hype. I think it'll go the distance because there's so much money out there on the line. So I'm going with the man, Money Mayweather.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. It is finally the week of the fight. Fight is so big that the 100,000 seats for the weigh-in have all been bought. The rule is in Las Vegas, you actually can't charge for weigh-in. But as always, when dealing with the man who kind of makes sports go on in Vegas, they decided to charge $10. For you people that skip math, that's $1 million they have collected. And because they're giving it to charity, they let them do this usually. So usually when you hear about a weigh-in, it is free. Don't think, man, they're going to start charging to see me watch this guy take his shirt off. I guess Michael Sam, no, you can't say jokes like that. Would have been there early, but
ain't no joke.
But this fight, which if you like boxing, you were looking for this fight probably about 5-6 years ago when you really were deeply enthralled into this fight, signifying who out of the two are the best of their generation at that weight. Now, later, Floyd's 38, Pacquiao's 37. They both have a lot of kids. They both have a lot of other interests. Pacquiao owns a basketball team. He's in the government over in the Philippines. Floyd, as you know, dabbles in about everything, especially dabbles in pleasing Floyd, which you can do when you collect that kind of check every fight. They're going to finally get in the ring this Saturday night and see who can prevail. I would ask my two co-hosts, the truth, Miss Renee Jemison, and the funny man, Big Kenny, can this fight live up to the money? I think that different than old times like a lot of things, you can promote a fight to be huge. I mean, because they're promoting this fight like these two people are like 28 at their prime. Can this fight, we'll start with you, can it be, Ms. Jemison, can it be a $1 billion fight as it's publicized?
There simply are not enough rounds in a fight for anything to be worth $1 billion to me. It would have to be like a part 1, 2, and 3, a weekend event. But I just can't even imagine the
Fight
idea.
fest.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you get your money's worth. But the idea is just it's mind-boggling.
So 12 3-minute rounds.
If it goes that far, I'm not even investing $90. So I can't even imagine a ticket, a flight. I'm coming to your house.
You plan on grabbing a 12-pack and just going somewhere to somebody's house. Like,
Exactly.
that might be the best way to go. I think that from their previous fights, Big Kenny, it probably will go 12 rounds. I mean, Floyd, these last 5, 6 fights, he fights in a way he doesn't even try to knock you out.
Right.
You know, so I don't see him changing all of a sudden. I know he likes to sell, no, I'm going to meet him in the middle of the ring. Well, he just meant that when they touch gloves.
Right.
I don't think he really meant this is what we're going to do. We're going to try to knock each other out. Do you see this living up to the billing of it?
Unlike Renee, I'm going to invest the $90 to get it at home because I can't grab a 12-pack, and go by somebody's house because I'm trying to grab a bag of meth. It's just, everybody's just not into that at the fight party. So, but I think it's one of these things. It's almost like the Super Bowl. However it turns out, you want to watch it just because of the spectacle. Mm-hmm. It's what would be considered pop culture. The pop culture event of the summer, possibly. Something that's been highly anticipated. It's been long awaited, definitely. And however it goes, it will finally silence who's better. This is it. They may not be in their prime, but these are supposed to be the two that, had they fought, we would know hands down who's the number one boxer of today's generation.
Well,
and now we're about to know that.
Who are the next 2 boxers coming up? I think we just run out
nobody.
of
That's
people
what
to
I'm
fight.
saying. That's the impact of Pacquiao Mayweather. Nobody even really cares who the next boxers are.
And that's why they kind of bash Floyd. That Floyd has kind of cherry-picked who he wanted to fight.
Because he can.
Because he has that power that he can set big fights even if he doesn't have the belt. People not even talking about whether we don't know what they're fighting for. We do know they're fighting, and we do know it's a lot of money, but I couldn't tell you which one of them or which division belt they both own. So it's like they became so big. Floyd definitely is probably the first boxer that can set the table as he chooses. He won't fight outside of Las Vegas. He won't fight back-to-back top talent like they used to do. It used to be you go from Joe Frazier to George Foreman. Now,
And then back again.
You had Frazier at 2:30. You had Foreman at 5. And both of those are 15-minute bouts. You got like a 30-minute standing lunch break between the fights.
And now that's why we don't, in my opinion, really know who else is in the division, because even Manio, these last couple, he hasn't fought the second-ranked challenger
and who would
or
that
the
be?
fourth-ranked challenger. Adrian Bronner. Well, these people change weight classes so much. They just kind of fluctuate up and down.
And they're not on the news, so I don't know who they are.
Exactly.
So this is more reality TV than sports.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess so.
Kind of gangster, though. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to make a lot of money for both fighters. I think that, as Big Kenny is saying, it's a spectacle that people, when you watch old video of when Ali came back, his first fight back after the suspension, dealing with the military, everybody, they show you that Frank Sinatra and Diana Ross, all these people were there because I don't even know if they know who he was fighting. But they knew this is a time and moment to be able to say, I was there, I saw that fight. We even have a video of Diddy and Mark Wahlberg we have that video over there where they're placing a bet of $250,000. Let's see that video on the fight.
Got Mayweather going with the money team, baby. Who you got?
Pac-Man.
Gonna put 100,000 on it?
Why so little?
Ooh. 250.
I want that diamond.
That's how you take your money. Mayweather, baby, undefeated.
That is Mark Wahlberg, P. Diddy. Take that.
And see, things like this are what's driving the $1 billion price tag. And I think a lot of people, myself included, will tune in specifically because what if it turns out to be a phenomenal fight? It has the potential if they bring their determination. I mean, because I don't think they're physically capable of being on their A game. They're for the level that they are, the age that they are. If they bring the best that they have to bring to the ring and really slug it out, I don't think anybody wants to miss that. I mean, because you could be thinking it's going to be one of those Mayweather dances around, but if they get in there and they buckle, and you miss it, you're like, wow, I can't believe I missed one of the greatest fights.
I think the last anticipated fight that we had was Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. It was
before the bite.
Yeah. When I'm saying because before Mike lost the title and fell into the drug and jail situation,
right?
It was anticipated that they were going to fight, and then it took 5-6 years later.
Right.
They had both passed that time.
Right.
We still tuned in.
Right.
But neither one of them could deliver.
Because it was about the story.
Because it became that story.
It was about the story.
Right.
And they were too compelling. Mike was the big star. Holyfield was this humble, everyday man kind of person.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
With all them kids.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Well, both of them had a lot of kids. I think, don't cheat, Tyson.
Prolific.
Oh, I was getting mine in. Don't think.
Well, you know, I've got girlfriends who don't even like boxing, but you know, I'm going to the MGM, I'm going to Vegas. I'm like, you don't even know anything about it. But the hype is there and it's real and it's generating billions of dollars clearly. So.
Right.
And the scary part of what you just said is people go out and place bets just by rumor. You haven't even seen the person fight or know his statistics. All you haven't heard is the name. Oh, you know, Floyd gonna win. Well, who he fighting? I don't know who he fighting, but you know, everybody.
And then some people with the half information. I'm going with Pacalive. I'm gonna go with Manuel Pacalive. I don't know if that's his name. That's what it is. And he fighting a whole team of money. Yeah. Okay. Right.
And that is because it's one of those sports that people don't feel like they need to check in and watch to pick a winner. You know, usually you have to see the football team or the basketball team before you place a bet. If you haven't seen a Pacquiao fight or Mayweather fight, you're just going off
a coin toss.
what Mayweather's name is so big, you figure, oh, he's going to win.
And even if you have seen a Pacquiao fight, it's in video replay because he hadn't fought in a while. You know what I
Or
mean?
you're just voting because you like Miss Pac-Man or Mr. Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man. That sounds like a woman bet, right?
Yeah, I know what the Pac-Man.
I like Pac-Man. Well, let's see what somebody else as we go to break had to say about who they thought would win this fight.
George Miller III. I think 4 years ago the fight would have been a real good fight. By the 7th round, Pacquiao is going to be gassed, and it's going to be done and over with. Hands down, Money Mayweather.
More of the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
People tell me to be cautious.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. Friday night, ABC. Diane Sawyer sat down with her, and we're going to have to wait to figure out who her is, but formerly known as Bruce Jenner, the 1976 decathlon champion, says he's been battling 40 years with wanting to be a woman. Made sure during the clip to let you know he still will be dating women, or as he said, He'll make that decision down the road. I don't know how much road left when you're 66, but he kept saying down the road he was going to make that decision. So he wants to have a full transformation, except for the part that really signifies that he is a man. He has not decided to remove that at this time, but he will change his face. He will let his hair grow long, and he is taking estrogen to want the lady parts up top. Bruce Jenner, if you don't know, has been married and divorced 3 times. He has 6 biological children out of those 3 marriages, and he has the whole keeping up with the Kardashian crew as stepkids that basically he's been around for 25 years. I think the oldest one of those are like 35, so he's their father too, when you look at it like that. The man that's been in the house with you 25 years and you're only 30, that's your daddy. You don't have to look too far away to really see that. So 10 kids, 3 ex-wives, Big Kenny, Truth. At times, to me, he seemed like he might be on some drug. He couldn't keep his left eye up. I don't know if that's from surgery. The Botox in his lips were heavy on the left side, light on the right. Anytime I saw her ask him a question that posed him like, what do you say to the critics that say you're doing this for the fame? He seemed to reply in this fake laugh, which made me feel like maybe that's why he's doing it, a little taste of fame. He said he was a obsessive type person. So I'm trying to figure out who goes first, him or her or him. He won't be on, one last note, he won't show himself on any kind of television program again until he is what he referred to as her. So, funny man, Big Kenny. Bruce Jenner, finally out. He says it's 40 years. He tried the estrogen and stuff back in the mid-'80s.
And who didn't? Really. It was the 80s. It was everywhere. You know what I mean? You'd be at a party and somebody would have a little bag of estrogen and you take a little bit, man. I'm saying it was the 80s. Miami Vice, no socks with the shoes. Right. You know how it went, Sports Joc.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was the 80s.
It was a lot of Freddie Jackson, Luther Vandross type.
A lot of estrogen.
Shoulder pads.
A lot of estrogen.
A lot of estrogen.
I don't know if you saw this. It was a 2-hour special.
I caught it about in the half hour into it sort of realm, because I was flipping back and forth between NBA playoffs and Bruce's journey. And I think one of the things that you're saying, I think what I missed was him saying that he wasn't going to get rid of that, so he was going to change his face and let his hair grow. So he's basically going to be RuPaul.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty much. That's just pretty much it. He's going to just pretty much just come out and dress like a lady, and that's it. I thought he was going to go through the whole surgical transformation and all of this. Bruce, we had a whole special just so you could tell us you want to wear women's clothes.
Well, it has been doing that.
At the end, that's what it sounded like.
And now
I want to cross dress.
That's the decathlon equivalent to I'm taking my talents to South Beach. You know what I mean? The exact same equivalent. We had a whole special for you to say I'm going to Miami, and now you had a whole special just to say, yeah, I'm gonna dress like a woman.
I'm gonna continue to wear dresses.
Right, I'm gonna continue. But just y'all will see me, and I'm gonna have a name. And
only difference is I'm going to Miami was just 30 minutes.
Right.
And it was 18 minutes worth of commercials.
Right.
This was actually 2 hours, and I T-voted or DVR'd it, whatever that thing on my TV does. So I could go through
next to the Twitter button.
The show quickly I will ask you this. I don't expect that Big Kenny has an answer. Maybe he does. Maybe he's had this conversation with a woman before. Bruce Jenner said that he had a soul of a woman. Now,
I done had a couple women sold myself, church. You know what I'm saying? Because pimping ain't dead, they just scared.
So, what is a soul? That's why I brought you estrogen. I'm testosterone.
No, I think let me tell you, I'm not even clear on what the soul of a woman is. And I've been one a long time.
It is the arch of my back. It is the flip of my hair.
Give it to me.
Still I rise.
Big Kenny gonna give me some girl lessons.
I guess I mean.
What is that?
Hey, when I don't know, I go to people that can
I am
relate.
not an expert.
He said he had the soul of a woman.
What I had learned about souls is that they weren't gender specific. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I think
like
the soul
animals
is just
have souls.
right.
Yeah,
right.
so
That's what I'm.
I don't know. I have no clue what Bruce is doing other than coming out with whatever he's saying is his truth, and I mean that's his right.
Well, if you go back, on demand it, I don't know. Would it be on YouTube? They have 2-hour stuff on YouTube like that.
Yeah, they have full length.
And you watch it real quickly. You watch his children. They were on. I bought that 2 of them was cool with it. One of them asked that he was wrestling with how I'm gonna call my dad,
in public.
and he's a woman in a sense.
Yeah,
so
across the grocery store.
And he was like, still call me dad.
And he's worried about the simplest things, like a name.
Well, I mean, I'm standing in front of you, and you. First of all, I can't forget that you're sitting over here with some boobs and a man part, and you're telling me you're a woman. That's the thing. I thought he was going the whole
transgender surgery.
What's that? The full Monty. I thought he was going the full Monty.
Yeah, he hesitated and kind of crossed his legs when they talked about cutting out the family jewels. And he said, I'm just not sure on that yet. Maybe later.
Yeah, later down the road.
Yeah, later.
I'll think about that. Is this not just a case? And I'm reading here about the girl or the guy, 17-year-old up in South Carolina. He won his case against the DMV that he should be able to take his photo as how he walks around. So his name is Chase Culpepper. He's 17. He wanted to be able to wear his wig and his eyelashes to take his photo. But is the DMV wrong?
Well,
because it's like me, it's like anyone going in there and I'm not getting the true of who you look like.
You're an imposter.
Right. That's a disguise.
All right, so I'll pull you over.
That's pretty much. I mean, because I can't go in dressed as a Viking.
And next it'll be passport photos.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I can go in my whole Zulu warrior thing and be like I'm celebrating my heritage and this is who I am. I have the soul of a Zulu warrior. Right. So I'm going to, I got the whole get up on and I want to take my license like this. And unless I have tens of thousands to not millions of people willing to support me in that, they don't have to bend to that pressure.
Yeah, that's support.
And that's my question to everybody. Why is it, as I said earlier, why is it that I can tell you I want to do this and you start finding parables and scripture that says this is cool, but if I tell you that I am Batman and I want to do the things that Batman want to do, you tell me I need medication.
You do. That's a loony bin.
Tom Benson's family is taking him to court because he decided to give the team to his wife, saying that he has become incompetent and losing grip. No, I'm married to this lady, and I want to leave her the team. It's like, but in the same vein, like Big Kenny saying, if I want to be a Viking, I'm wrong. But if I want to be a woman, I'm right.
No, who said that?
Is that not how they are, like you're saying? If I get 7,000 more people to say they want to be Batman, though, 700,000
So if we sign
people,
a petition, then we can dress as Batman on our passports.
So...
And I'm really pushing for that. Because I'm telling you, nothing would make me happier than coming back into the country and they're going, welcome back to America, Batman. And I'll be like, peace, partner. I just go on and do my thing.
This is a growing thing. The special said that it's about 700,000 transgender people in our country out of the 325 million. We've talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
Have you seen the transgender children now? 8 years old, and I think the oldest one was 10,
that's
like 8 and 12.
abuse.
And no, they say that they knew very early on, and so they're living as either a boy or a girl. And
well, Darth Vader, as you see on my shirt, he was transgender. He was part robot.
I don't think that counts.
That
That does not count.
Why doesn't that count?
Because we're not human.
He didn't want to be
That's
Anakin Skywalker
hey,
anymore.
Darth Vader was the first dude using a vaporizer.
We'll be back for the Sports Joc Show right after this. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. Let's play that clip of her on Diane Sawyer before we move on in the center court. Can we play that clip over there, please? Here's Bruce Jenner, Diane Sawyer.
I've got family. I've got 7 grandkids now. I'm actually really excited about the future, about what I could do to be able to do some real good in the world.
Telling Diane exclusively about a part of his life far from the cameras.
What's the question you would ask you? What's the question?
If I were you, what question would you ask me?
Right.
Are you going to be okay? You know?
Are you going to be okay?
Yeah. I hope I'm going to be okay. I feel like I'm going to be okay.
He's not going to be okay.
2015 is going to be quite a ride. Quite a ride.
The man we once rooted.
That is Bruce Jenner on Diane Sawyer.
Wait.
That's Brenda.
Wait.
I mean her.
You gonna get boobs and you not too sure about it? You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm gonna be okay. I'd like to think there would be a lot more confidence in your voice about being okay when you decide I'm gonna go and put a couple 34 double D's on
in my
and
chest.
keep my man parts.
Right.
That's not the kind of thing you do and then go, eh.
It's the estrogen. I mean, you talk about the soul of a woman. Part of it is that confusion that comes in when you start taking those pills. So you can see his confusion and all of that in the interview, and it's got to be the hormones.
So the question I will leave the both of you with is, he does this. It's 2015. He wakes up 2018. I want to be Bruce again. Now what? Now we get him some help, or do we just still? Oh, okay.
I think
because he's leaving himself that he can go back.
Yeah.
Remember,
right
I can stop taking the estrogen
and
I
take
can
some
go
testosterone.
take these breasts out of my chest and go back to Bruce. Is that when we start believing there's an issue?
Well, I think part of his what seemed like nervousness, hesitation, maybe a slight bit of uncertainty in the interview may have had a lot to do with the fact that he's finally coming out with this, although a lot of people are already aware of it and they kind of knew where he was going with it. It's his first time saying it himself for the world to see.
So he was
now
nervous.
all of his friends, all of his, there is no wondering. I mean, because I'm sure maybe some people were kind of like, hey, you know, something up with Bruce. You know what I mean? But maybe that had something to do with it. But if he decides that he wants to transition back into Bruce from her, whoever her will end up being, is to say he would, to suggest that he would need some sort of counseling, would leave yourself open to people saying you're being discriminatory. What's wrong with that person being this? You know what I'm saying?
Did we determine he's not going through counseling now on the front
Well,
end?
that's why
I
he
think
said
this is
he has
part
to
of
go
it.
at least a year
right
as her before he can, I guess, get the.
Well, no, I think my and we got to move on. My question is, I go back to Bruce.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying what the public, everybody is. Let's be kumbaya. He's not crazy. You know, we are in this new America where you have to support any foolishness that goes on.
Mostly 'cause we
what
got
about
our own
when I
foolishness.
get, as we say, it looked greener over there until I got over there.
And now you want to be
And I
a
wanna go
Viking.
back.
Now I want to be a Viking.
Doesn't that basically tell me, because that's what you have. That's the whole thing when people like to put homosexuality with race. Well, I can't ever stop being black. Michael Jackson tried it. He was still black at the end of the day. A lesbian or any homosexual can stop one day and say, well, you know what?
I disagree because I don't think they would agree with you. I think those people that feel that way don't think they can go back.
Donnie McClurkin said he fell down, but he got up. He sure did.
We've seen women who only dealt with women and then one day decided to go get married.
Yeah.
Well, that's an action. I don't know if that necessarily changes a mindset.
Well, but the thing is, even if you have the same mindset, you can deny it. You can hide it. You can do all of those things, and that's unlike race. Like, I can't say if somebody says I'm looking for a black guy, I can't go, oh yeah, me too, because like I don't know where they are. You can look at me and tell that I'm black. But if tomorrow I decide I want to marry a guy, people would be like, we never saw that in you. And then if 10 years down the road, I move away and decide I want to marry a woman again, people would be like, we never knew you dated guys. And that's, I think, the point that you're
I
making.
can't change my mind.
I can't change my
no
mind.
point.
Bruce, it would seem that struggling with your identity that much would suggest at least some sort of lack of knowledge of who you are.
I don't think he was struggling with his identity. I think he was struggling with how to bring it out to the world. It's been a very long time. He's been caught.
I'm saying in the event that he goes back to being Bruce from her.
Oh, well,
that
I
has got
can't
to be
even
a
imagine.
question of struggling with your identity.
I would like to be his agent when that happens because I want to have the show if he goes back. That's going to be the bigger story. I mean, you can't say now.
I just know that.
But how long will these stories matter?
As long as you get views.
Oh, I get it.
No, it's like the old story about the chicken, the cow, and the pig.
You always turn it back to food, don't you?
Well,
barbecue ribs, yeah. It always ends up on barbecue.
No, that old story where they wanted to make the farmer breakfast. The chicken laid some eggs. The cow gave some milk. The pig said, "Oh, y'all want me to be all in?" Because for him to get this ham or whatever pork chop, I gotta die. You just giving an egg and you just giving milk. I have to die to supply the farmer. So people. I'm always leery, and you live your life like you want, but you get an option in these situations. That's why I'm sitting here like, well, it's funny you keeping that part. And it's funny that you're letting the world know I'm not about to start dating men, even as her.
Right.
So you just want to basically be a cross-dresser, in my opinion. You want to live that fantasy day in and day out without anyone basically monitoring. You want it to be a full-time thing. So we'll see how this plays out. I know it's made for good news, and like Big Kenny saying, in this America, he will have to do something even more outlandish to get greater ratings. To get greater ratings.
Yeah, he's at the top.
Something that's not worrying about ratings right now is the NBA. There has been great games. The Hawks play Brooklyn tonight. The Cavs have sent Boston packing in a physical game yesterday. Kevin Love dislocating his shoulder early in the game, about 4 or 5 minutes into the game. Right here on this play, Boston center, as they're fighting for the ball, it looked like he yanked at it. You can see K Love. It's his left shoulder, not his shooting hand, so that's promising. If you're a Cavs fan, they can pop it back in.
Do we have that still picture of the bone popping up?
Please.
Right there. Paul Millsap had a similar injury for the Hawks, but it was his shooting arm, which I think that's what.
There it is.
Right there.
I will not look at that.
It's popped out. If you're looking at the Sports Joc page.
Don't look. Don't look.
Give it a look. Give it a look.
Don't.
Hey, if you can look at Bruce, you can look at a bone popping out the shoulder. Don't be like that. Don't be like that.
This is much
Bruce is.
softer.
Well, I was about to say Bruce is a lot harder to look at.
Point
But Cavs fan, you can still he'll have about 5 days off now before the next round, based on how the Chicago-Milwaukee series goes. If they have to go another game,
very physical series.
Very physical.
Do we have the video where people were making memes of getting slapped? I mean, now, is this the kind of thing that can get you suspended from the league is what I wanted to know.
J.R. Smith goes up against Crowder for this rebound. And that is Dave Chappelle's skit with Eddie Murphy right here. He swung his arm back. That could lead. That was a flagrant 2. They did eject him. I guess the only good thing about it is that he wasn't looking at the guy. He can claim that in the courtroom.
Could we? Did we have the audio on that too?
I don't know if they cleaned that up. They might, knowing Dave Chappelle. Well, knowing Charlie Murphy, it might get a little out of control. But in this playoff system,
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face. What?
But Cleveland, I think people keep forgetting those days of roughing LeBron up and him disappearing are over, kind of like Scottie Pippen. Once Scottie learned that stuff didn't work here, they tried to play physical in a desperate game. The Cavs won, sweeping the Celtics, who are the youngest team in the league, right? Second youngest team in the league. Had a lot of turnover. Washington went for the sweep of Toronto. A lot of flack by Drake, who's a Toronto Raptors fan through different media outlets. Wale, another unknown local rapper. When y'all say a local rapper, it's not. I mean, a lot of places, even in this country, nobody's ever heard of Wale. He's a good actor. I mean, he's a good artist, but he's more
great.
A local talent. Drake, who is a little more famous than him, is a Toronto Raptors. If you watch this game, Paul Pierce hit a big shot to give them a decisive win and lead. That is the truth right there. Paul Pierce, that's his nickname as well, sitting on the king in the north. And if you are a Game of Thrones fan, you will get isn't that thing from the Game of Thrones? Yeah, I watched the Game of Thrones. Nerds! But we're going to come back from break. We're going to talk about Mr. and Mrs. Brittany Griner and their spat, and D. Orlando Ledbetter coming up in the next hour or two. The NFL draft, as I said, starts Thursday. That and much more on the Sports Joc Show in just a second. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. That reminds me of the first transgender. No, I'm not going to say. I was about to say Morris Day was really Apollonia, but but I'm not going to mess with that. Oh, last week a couple of NBA awards came out. Toronto's Lou Williams, who was here with the Hawks 2 years ago, found his game again. 10-year vet, won the Sixth Man of the Year award, averaged 15.5 points off the bench. Celtics' Isaiah Thomas was second, and Jamal Crawford, who has already won that award twice, came in third. In first place in the Coach of the Year balloting, Hawks coach Mike Budenholzer won that award. Second place, Steve Kerr. Third was Jason Kidd. Speaking of the Hawks, billionaire philanthropist Anthony Ressler bought the Hawks and Phillips Arena. They're estimating the 55-year-old spent about $750 million. Former NBA great Grant Hill is also part of that. But y'all people, it's just like 1%. Like, don't get all, just like everybody when Jay-Z owned part of the Nets. It was $700,000 worth of the Nets he owned. But it's always good to have somebody like that to help promote your team in a place that's like Brooklyn, where the Nets was just moving to from New Jersey. And it's always good to have somebody like a Grant Hill connected as well. I'm quite sure Dominique, if he had it, would have forked up some money to be part of it. I've even heard like Chris Webber was part of a group. Dikembe Mutombo was part of another group trying to buy the team. So nice investment for Grant Hill. The Hawks are hot. And with the Braves moving up here in Atlanta to Cobb County, which is about 20 miles from where they are right now, it might even increase the Hawks' revenue more for people that don't want to pass the city. There are people in the south of Atlanta that are very upset that the Braves are moving up north. I've heard the rumbling. Some people are not going to Braves games now for that simple fact that they are moving their team and facility up to North Georgia to Cobb County. Saying all that brings us back to, before I bring my co-host back on, the fan that was arrested for impersonating a cop down in Texas, 58-year-old James Pierce, was charged with impersonating a police officer. Pierce allegedly posed as a cop trying to sneak into last week's Houston-Dallas game with him not knowing at the arena. Police officers do not flash their badge to show the security that they are cops, and that was what tipped them off. He went, showed the person his badge, because you don't know protocol. Everything has protocol. You didn't know the handshake, and that's what got him caught. He went over to the table to show the person the fake badge. It was fake anyway, thinking that must be the procedure, and that is what got him caught. That's why you have to do your homework. Every place is different. Sometimes you walk on the right, sometimes you walk on the left, and if you don't know that part, all you knew was go down and steal your police uniform. And you're 58, man. And that a little old. What's going on that you sneaking in games? But we will see what kind of time? Any time for that kind of stuff, or just a big fine? Well, impersonating a police officer, do you get time? You can get time for impersonating a police officer. I wonder if he had maybe used that on the street against people. You think he possibly could have pulled some people over? It's funny what people find. Just go be a cop, I guess. Well, you can't join the police force at 58. I'm taking it. Let's find you one of those Andy Griffin towns and sign up and watch. What was the dude that always was drunk? But here today, we have Big Kenny, the funny man himself, and the truth, Miss Renee Jemison. Welcome back to the show. It is Monday, as I said.
Dude tried to get into the game as a fake cop. He flashed a badge. They don't flash badges, number one. That's what tipped them off. And then the badge said Ranger Scout. that was another dead giveaway.
Property of Disney.
Yeah, and he's wearing a little miniature cowboy hat with the stick with the horse head on it. So
looking like Texas Ranger.
Looking like a little Texas Ranger. Had the bandana around his neck. Let's go get him, partner. But just think about it. If he was bold enough to try it in a setting like that, chances are he developed that confidence by probably pretending in other places
Such
to be a cop.
as?
Well, maybe a restaurant.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Restaurants.
She's in the bedroom.
I was just about to say maybe at places where cops get discounts.
Right. Dunkin' Donuts.
Want to get
every little bit counts.
Want to get free.
Or
Happy
even
Meal.
maybe a concert. Maybe other things where police can get into.
He started at the arts festival. We're going to take it to a professional sporting event.
Miss Brittany Griner, as you know, Phoenix Mercury, been in the WNBA about 3 years. When she left college, Baylor, she was the player of the year.
And could dunk.
She could dunk. She's about 6'8".
Yeah.
She announced her engagement last year to another WNBA player. They got into an altercation last week, a domestic violence case. We know all about domestic violence because, Ray Rice was the first man to ever hit a woman last year, or at least that's how the media portrayed it.
Ever.
If I was a woman, and I would have been mad, like, hold on now.
I've been
beat
beat
up
all
for
week.
2 decades. It's been around. It's been, there's nothing new under the sun. I mean,
but most of it don't get caught on video.
No, it doesn't get
in the casino elevator.
Right.
But in this case, Miss Griner and her girlfriend got into an altercation. Her fiance, Big Kenny, was telling me the wedding was supposed to be May 8th, which is right around the corner. I don't know if one of them got cold feet, but they ended up in well, the cops arrested them. Truth, why isn't this? Is it because the WNBA nobody cares, or is it because it was woman on woman, or girl on girl, or whatever they're calling themselves?
I think the WNBA is trying to figure out what that precedent is going to look like now. It's not that they don't care. It's just that, this new coupling or relatively recent coupling in the public has required some different rules. And I think the WNBA is going to respond shortly as soon as they figure out what their...
Should this be just as big as far as they go?
Abuse is abuse. I mean, my humble opinion is that you hit people, you beat people up, you're in a relationship, it's abuse, it's domestic violence. Period.
Why isn't this getting that Ray Rice? Because Brittany Griner, as far as women athletes in our country, is a known name.
A premier athlete.
Yeah, she's a premier. She left college with a lot of hype. She won a national championship. She was the first pick of the draft. She had an announcement on public television that she was, with her skateboard and her backpack and her Chucks on, that, the obvious for a lot of people. Why isn't this being used as a precedent for women? I mean, this might not come around again. We saw it with Shamika Holslaw when she went crazy. She was the girl here in Atlanta. Why isn't this that time for somebody to say something?
Brat used to beat up all her girlfriends.
Because America lives under the double standard, and we would like to believe that what is going on between Brittany Griner and Glory Johnson is different from what's going on with Ray Rice and his wife. And it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. You have a couple, and one of them is physically harming the other. There should be some sort of fines. The fact that it may get handled somewhere down the line doesn't relieve the WNBA from the fact that they've been totally quiet about it.
Right.
Up to this point. They haven't made any kind of statements. There is no plan for a press conference. We look at people like Ed Hardy, who is now under
Greg
Hardy, I'm sorry, under a 10-game suspension after having been found not guilty in a domestic violence suit. We look at...
Hold on, and I'm going to tell you this part of that, so make sure the public know. To the point that they said it was conduct detrimental to the league. They had to go and find another avenue to even suspend
another clause
him.
To even suspend him
Because
Ray Rice lost his job.
Correct.
Later vindicated, but still had to sit out Adrian Peterson.
That's right.
So all of these people, crimes against loved ones, kids and wives, is something that they will punish for. But this is going to be her wife. They're engaged to be married. This is my fiance. So why isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, and before we go to break, as soon as I read this, I went also to thinking, what if a female athlete spanked their kid? Will people act like they did when Adrian Peterson did it?
If they draw blood?
It would be like, that's what
moms do.
You know, hey. 888-926-7562. We'll be back. D. Orlando Ledbetter on the other side of the mic. We'll have him up. The beat writer for the AJC covering the Atlanta Falcons. Draft starts Friday night. More of the Sports Joc Show in just a second.
Players Lounge. You have been given full access to the Players Lounge on the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. It is NFL draft time. Some of you probably won't even get around to watching much of it. As I said, busy weekend in sports, especially on Saturday between the mega fight Pacquiao-Mayweather. Also, we have the Kentucky Derby. The draft starts Thursday, so I guess all the big name people that you will be looking for will be gone by Saturday anyway. You don't know those people in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round. Don't try to act like you know those people. Unless a big star falls into those later rounds, most of you have never even heard of
you
those
don't
players.
even really know the people out of the top 2.
Unless you're really
that's for real, for real. Most people
Right.
only know who they're talking about in the top 2, 3 slots, and that's it.
Because when those spots are not a skill position, you really don't know. You wouldn't know the DN for USC is a top 5 pick. You don't know much about the kid from Nebraska. You know, if he's not the running back. Those are the people we're familiar with. But this year is heavy at the top of the class, the bottom, not so much. Here in Atlanta, we are looking for a running back. I know that's what D. Orlando Ledbetter going to tell me, that the first pick the Falcons are going to pick is Todd Gurley out of Georgia. D. Orlando Ledbetter, beat writer for the AJC. Am I correct?
No, you're not. They're going to come to their senses and get some help for that defense over there and address the running back situation later.
Oh, D, you just broke my heart. I just saw Todd Gurley rumbling down the field. You're telling me we're going with who in your estimation?
I'm working on my final mock. I think it's Bud Dupree, but they're going to try to trade up and get the Florida defensive end, Dante Fowler Jr. He played for Coach Quinn at Florida. He was recruited by him, and he's a scheme fit for their defense. You know, they need a defensive end to hold down the run and get after the passer, and Fowler's the best fit in this draft for them. And then the second best fit is Dupree. But, you know, if they do Dupree, then you're passing on a certain top 10 talent in Todd Gurley. But that's the situation that they'll find themselves in if they sit there at 8.
Well, D, recently a lot of controversy surrounding people like Jameis Winston. Do you think that will hold him out of being in a Tampa uniform?
No, it looks like Tampa's doing everything to try to justify picking him. There was a story out of the Tampa Tribune over the weekend where they actually talked about their investigation of Winston and the 75 people or so that they interviewed about him. But so they're trying to kind of smooth the waters down there for him to be drafted. But they didn't talk to the victim of the alleged civil suit and the alleged sexual encounter that he had. So it seems like you want to talk to her, too, or her people, as part of your extensive investigation. So it sounds like they're trying to smooth it for him to land there and try to win over the public in that regard.
D, this is Big Kenny. If the Falcons don't get Todd Gurley, he's a highly touted running back. Who do you think he will go to?
He's going somewhere between 17 to 27 at the latest, possibly as early as 14 to Miami. You could hear his name come off the board. If he gets past Miami, then start looking at San Diego at 17, and then there's a slew of teams in there, Baltimore and that group in the 20s that could take him. But certainly he doesn't get past Dallas at 27.
Well, D, looking at the draft, who is that person that it seems to be rising in this last week? There's always that one guy that people start seeing moving out of the second or moving out from the bottom of the first up into that top 12, 15 ranking.
Yeah, the receiver from Central Florida, Brett Perryman's son, Brashard Perryman, is rocketing up the draft boards, Wayne. Brett played for the Lions and the Saints there at the end. His kid is fast as lightning, and he did have some drops and so forth. But out of Lithonia here in Georgia, he's a kid that can go as high as 20 now. In the draft, maybe even a little bit higher. But he ran a 4.28 at his pro day down there, and people have been going crazy about him ever since.
Is there someone on the Falcons, veteran, that we think is on the team today that might not be there come the end of June?
I think everybody's set. They got rid of everybody that they needed to, but you could still maybe one of the linemen, if they are not coming back from their injury, or they get back from injury and then they decide that, hey, this is not a scheme fit. Maybe Lamar Holmes or Sam Baker could be guys that they decide to move on from, depending on how they address the line in the draft here. But, yeah, certainly on that side of the ball, those are two veterans that could be still, in trouble.
You said they got rid of everybody they needed to. Do you think there was a player that got released that they'll regret releasing later in the season?
Yeah, maybe not what they needed to, but who they wanted to get rid of. They, I would have kept Ossie around just because you got the young guys who looked up to him, and at least try to see if he had something left. I understood the Harry Douglas move; it was financial. But, Steven Jackson, I understood that, but I don't know.
Everybody laughs when you say Steven Jackson. Mr. Glass.
So, yeah, I think, I thought they could have got rid of a lot more players than they did, quite frankly.
Well, I'm speaking to D. Orlando Ledbetter. He's the beat writer for the Falcons, the AJC who covers the Falcons. We had an interesting situation last week that has, the NFL has been dealing with the Michael Sam situation. In the case of some type of, say Michael Sams gets back in the league, there's domestic violence. Is he held under the same policy as a man that's married to a woman?
Wow, yeah, the whole Brittany Griner thing through, is where we're going there. I think so. Domestic violence is domestic violence, whether it's male on male or male on female or female on female. It's a person on a person. Mm-hmm. So, once you just start looking at it as people and don't get into the preferences and orientations and so forth, it's still domestic violence. So
y'all were talking about Michael Sam, and he said person on person.
Politically correct.
You got to be politically correct.
I love it.
And Michael Sam was thinking, yes, person on person, hello.
Well, we do live here in Atlanta, so you have to be person on. Before I let you go, D, one last question. The mega fight is Saturday, Mayweather-Pacquiao. I won't ask you who you think will win. I will ask you, do you think the fight can live up to the hype?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to see a scrap. Mayweather wins it, but I want Pacquiao to come out and attack him. I don't want to see them guys just dancing around and, maybe, doing the old boxing point thing, but I want to see a scrap, and I think we're going to get one here Saturday night. I'm certainly looking forward to that.
I tell you what, if it's a boring fight, for $90, I'm gonna fight somebody. if you want to see a fight, come by my house. Somebody gonna get punched. For $90, we gonna see somebody get it on.
You have an after card.
and I'll be charging a fraction of what they'll be making.
Yeah.
Well, D, thank you for calling in. Hopefully we can get you on next week and see after the draft how you felt the Falcons did.
Sure, no problem. I always look forward to coming on your show, Wayne, and thanks for having me once again.
All right, D. Orlando Ledbetter, beat writer for the AJC, all things Falcons. I think everybody's sentiment is like you and D. Regardless of who wins, you want to actually see a fight. I think that Floyd has easily he turns it into that whole stagger little action. You know, he's already a counter puncher. But then he's
too concerned about being pretty boy.
Theatrical.
Floyd, let's get in there and mix your hands.
Right. He does protect himself at all times, as he says. But I think people would rather 8-round fight, 7 rounds.
Good fight
with action. You know, where those are always the best fight to me because they show you that we're trying to fight, and after about 7 or 8 rounds of knocking each other out,
you're worn out.
You're done.
I think what'll make it a good fight is that Floyd and Manny Pacquiao both realize that at this point their legacies are on the line.
Yes.
So Floyd is claiming to be the best that there's ever been, and there's no way you're going to solidify that claim with dancing around in what is to be the biggest fight of the century. So he's going to have to get in there and prove something to the critics if he hopes to silence.
Yeah, because for right now, he's just the greatest because of his record. But
exactly.
people don't really see him
on paper.
Yeah, there's people with 3, 4, 5 losses. They still feel are better because they feel like that person put it out there. That was what people loved about Oscar De La Hoya. He fought the next man in line.
He'll fight anybody.
Sometimes he got beat, but it was never, I'm going to fight number 3, and then I'm going to fight number 43.
So it's easier to protect that record.
Yeah, it is.
Oscar was fighting dudes at the refreshment stand. you want some? Yeah, you want some? Come on, partner. Hey, he got me. Right. He got me that time. He got me.
Right,
I get him next time. Right. I get him by the nacho cart.
We'll be back more on the Sports Joc Show right after this. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. We'd like to thank our man, beat writer for the HAC, covering the Falcons, Mr. D. Orlando Ledbetter. D says that he does not want to see all that posturing. He wants to actually see some action. Hopefully we can get that on Saturday night. Mega fight between Floyd Money Mayweather and the Pride of the Philippines. And I saw a special where they said everyone that can finds a TV when Manny Pacquiao goes into the ring. And
it's in the Philippines, so you know Asians know how to make them TVs. They find plenty of TVs.
Is that racist?
Was that racist?
I'm asking.
It does.
No,
it does say Taiwan and stuff.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Hey, but they Asian. They know how.
See?
They be sharing their information.
Crossing the line.
Speaking of sharing information, footage was released last week by TMZ of the arrest from February the 2nd of Mr. Warren Sapp, Hall of Famer, Tampa Bay Buck, Oakland Raider, in which Warren was trying to explain the different things that went on in his hotel room. Even at one point in the video, you will see him kind of realize that jail is ahead of him, that he can't talk his way out of it. He even goes on to say, I put $600 on the table. Everybody get naked. Let's see what Warren had to tell the cops.
To you what's been told to me, and then you stop me wherever. You met 2 young ladies in a bar at the hotel. They came back up to your room. They performed a dance for you. You gave them each $300.
No dance. For you that are not on the Sports Joc page, the voice is the police officer. They're sitting in a little cubicle. I guess, I don't know what I've never been to jail, so I guess that's looked like a waiting room.
That's an interview room.
Oh, the interview room.
Yes.
Okay. Sapp,
yeah, it's a really nice interview room.
Nice interview room.
I'm saying there's no graffiti on the wall. There are no shackles in the room. Multiple chairs. I don't really understand that.
I just want to make sure. So that voice you hear is a law enforcement person asking Warren questions, who seems to be slouching in his chair.
Are those flip flops he's wearing? Oh, okay.
Jordan flip flops. Let's hear the rest of the interview.
The one young lady was.
Okay. Do you remember their names that they gave you?
No name.
Okay. And the blowjob was performed with a condom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did the other girl do anything?
No.
Okay. And then at one point you asked for sex, at which she said no, and then you told her to leave?
No.
Okay. So then let's rewind then, because these aren't like, there's like a million stories, so I'm just trying to get the truth.
That's fine.
Okay, so just...
Met him at the bar.
Okay.
Went up to the room.
Uh-huh.
The young lady said he wanted to do something. I said, so what it's going to be, ladies? The one that's in there alleging whatever said 200. The one with the black hair said 300. I said, okay. Put the $600 on the table. Everybody got naked. They were finna do what we do. We're in the bed. They were there. I started taking pictures of the two ladies naked and, you know, doing what they're doing. Not even laying on the bed with me. So I'm taking pictures, pulling the underwear, you know, just taking pictures. Because like, I'm silly like that sometimes. So the one girl was on the top of me, and the other girl said, give me a condom. So she ripped it off and started performing oral sex on me. So the other girl was up on top of me, and she just kept talking. I'm like, yo, why don't you use your mouth on me instead of using it? So she's like, I'm like, just don't worry about it. Just go. Just move. I see.
Well, use your mouth on me instead of talking. I think even men with their wives probably say that sometimes.
Gangsta! Only in their head.
Pimp.
You better not say that out loud.
Hey, hold on. It's some of us still take control of our situation. You know what I'm saying? All that bumping your gums.
Yeah, when you pay for it, you can talk to people that way.
I don't know
customers always right.
I don't know how $200 and $300 got to $600, but that's what he said. One asked for 2, one asked for 3.
I'm pulling on panties after we're already naked, though. Everybody got naked now.
And at the end, as I said, of his interview, you see him kind of grab his head and realize that this is, he's probably thinking about his job and his kids, that this is going to be my... Well, no, I don't think that was I think that he was probably thinking, man, I just repaired myself to where I'm working.
I'm working
on television.
And now I got this.
And I know for a fact...
That's over.
That's over when I leave here.
No question.
And then I'm going to have to go explain to my children, my 4 or 5 kids, the situation, and Daddy might not be chipping on that cruise I promised y'all is not going to be coming this year. So we do have a video of the ladies, Big Kenny, Truth, of them explaining what happened. Okay, go ahead.
Before we run the video, I just want to say the extra $100 was to ensure that everything I want gets done. Okay. You say 3, she says 2, so together you only want 5. Bam, here's 6. Bowling! We're about to do this.
Let's see what the ladies had to say about this whole.
It's like just like throwing, you know what I mean, like cash. Like, it's whatever, you know, so we're like, okay, you know, like, we see what's going on, like, we're good. You know, like, you're way too big to have a problem with, so we're going to leave. Once I tried to leave, that's where this came from, this bruise on my arm. And everything after that, it was like tussling, trying to get out of the room for no reason.
What did you observe coming out of the bathroom?
Them arguing with each other, and I don't really, he's like, he said something, he's like, I didn't, like, he was mad. He's like, I didn't pay money for this bullshit. Like, I don't do this anyway. And you guys are playing me. Like, he was mad. He was upset. Yeah. But I mean,
and what was she saying?
She's like, baby, calm down, like trying to get him to calm down. She's trying to put her shirt back on because she had took her top off, and like he's like pushing her, like trying to push us out the door. She's like, calm down, you're gonna make me go outside the door like this? Like, come on, like have some respect. He's like, respect, like.
That is Brittany Osborne and Quiying Boyd. I guess that's how you spell her name.
Miss Boyd.
Quying. Who has that pronunciation?
Her name's Q.
Nope. Everybody like I didn't get that. Quying.
I can't.
Kwong.
Quang. No. Nobody got it?
No.
Quang.
Quying.
Quying. Kaying Boyd. Those are the two escorts.
Doris.
Those were the two escorts. They also was explaining to the same law enforcement. They said they were having a naked dance party. At some point, Warren got aggressive and violent.
Naked dance party,
and
volume 5.
Tried to tackle the girls when they tried to leave the room.
This man sacked quarterbacks, and he's trying to tackle a stripper.
Naked. He was naked.
Oh, okay.
As you know, Warren has been fired from the NFL Network. How does TMZ get this stuff?
They pay for it.
Yeah, they're connected and they pay for it.
Yes.
She should not have the right to not. Shouldn't.
This stuff becomes
you lose your
public
rights
record.
to this stuff.
Yeah, once you get arrested, that becomes public record. So. Someone
out of a prison, out of a jail.
Well, there's only so many people that have access to that kind of stuff. So TMZ must be paying the kind of money that people go, hey, if they find out, it's worth the money.
So someone's committing a crime about a crime.
That's correct, and that's the bigger crime.
The girl said she got bruised up. See, the problem was Warren wasn't making no pimp decisions. He should have asked himself, what do you tell a chick with 2 black eyes? You don't tell her nothing. You already told her twice. You know what I'm saying?
And he said he admits to the solicitation, but there was absolutely no assault involved. So.
Well, as I asked Dee, if this ever finds its way into the NFL, how will they handle something like the Brittany Griner thing with the domestic violence? We saw how they handled the Adrian Peterson, the Ray Rice. How would that go in y'all estimation?
If this were a same-sex issue,
yes,
it should go the same way. I think the cops would dictate that.
Yes,
because once the police show up, the charges that
violence
they press
is violence.
Will carry themselves out in court. I just know that this seems to be a case of gross lack of customer service. You know what I mean? If there's somebody that they can complain to, maybe he could file a grievance. This was just.
Oh, so poor Warren.
Hey, come on, man.
Poor Mr. Sal.
You were still under warranty. This shouldn't have happened. Wow. This shouldn't have happened.
Well, then, under warranty.
I mean, first of all, you're screaming, have some respect. I got 2 of you for $600. Come on now. I'm just saying, don't ask me to be the one to come up with. I just gave the extra buck. Right. That's what. Don't ask me to be the one to respect you. Look in the mirror and start asking. Ask for respect there first, and then put the pressure on me.
Right.
Valid.
Well, Warren said he doesn't do this often, so maybe that's why he's out of practice in this situation. When we come back from break, we'll wrap up the NFL. The Patriots went to the White House. Tim Tebow has a pretzel in Philly already, and much, much more on the Sports Joc Show in just a second. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. NFL Draft. The Tampa Bay Bucks are on the clock. Most people believe that Jameis Winston will be drafted by the Bucks. A lot of people are trying to criticize him for his college actions, which deservedly so. Some of those things cannot be tolerated if true. Some of them are just being a college player. I learned that which I already knew, getting up on the cafeteria table was part of, he belongs to a fraternity, and that was something that he was challenged to do. And I also found out when I was home in Florida that the young lady who keeps saying about the allegations of rape is from the Tampa area. So being drafted by the Bucks, it'll be an interesting situation down there. I still believe that they should draft Jameis. I think if they're looking for the quarterback, he is the best suited to give them the edge that they want, because he's more of a conventional quarterback. Taking nothing away from Marcus Mariota, he's a system guy. Jameis played more what they call NF-style offense. The winner of the Super Bowl this year, the New England Patriots, found themselves at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue talking to President Barack Obama. The president had a couple of jokes about Gronkowski, and Deflategate. Let's hear President Obama.
Of course, this is the fourth time.
Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. I'm particularly grateful that Coach decided to dress up today. I usually tell a bunch of jokes at these events, but with the Patriots in town, I was worried that 11 out of 12 of them would fall flat. Gronkowski, I told him to keep his shirt on. He asked me what would happen if he took it off. I said, Secret Service probably wouldn't like it. He said, what could they do to me? We all became acquainted with a man named Malcolm Butler. I think it's fair to say that Malcolm has earned a lifetime of free drinks in every bar in Boston.
That is President Obama. If you didn't get the Deflategate joke, don't worry about it. Keep your day job, President, at least for a couple of more months before you pass the torch to Hillary. I can't be pro-Hillary.
You can, but why?
And her jokes are no better.
He also brought up Gronkowski and the shirt and Milton Malcolm. But, I mean, he's on cloud nine.
The only joke he was missing was, hey, Aaron Hernandez wrote these jokes. I knew they would kill. Drops the mic and walks off the stage.
Belichick is in a suit. For you that don't know, Bill Belichick is not a man who's ever spent much money on clothing at all. He thinks that a cut-off sweatshirt is actually proper dinner wear. And you said the owner, Robert Kraft. He was rocking some A1s. He's known for rocking A1. I think he have a Robert Kraft A1. He wears them so much. But soft, what they say, soft food and plenty of rest? I guess soft shoes and plenty of rest when you get to a certain age. Speaking of Kraft, for you people out there that used to love that Kraft macaroni and cheese, you might want to get you some of those boxes. Next week, they're supposed to stop selling that flavor. They will start using actual natural cheese.
I'm gonna miss the powder.
It's not going to be the powder anymore. Just thought I'd pass that on to
Why?
Because the powder was actually Kraft maca cancer and cheese. That stuff is
the
just
arteries across the country.
How do you make powdered cheese? How does that happen?
They said that stocks went up 89 cents as soon as they made that announcement. No joke. They said the stock went up 89 cents a share when they made that announcement.
They're not worried about the lawsuits down the road now. Maybe we'll have a couple of
Oh, man. Some people love that stuff. I hated it. I really never liked it.
If you like cheese, you couldn't like that. That's not cheese.
Yeah.
But what else is left in this segment? We talked about... got that out the way.
Yep.
We wrapped up the NFL portion. Before I let you go, because you're leaving.
Yes,
True.
I am. I'm
I got to get your pick before I forget in my. Your pick for the fight on Saturday. And don't be all that,
Mayweather.
One of them wearing red trunks.
No.
Red trunks, so I'm going with the person in the red trunks.
I had a dream last night. I'm going with Mayweather.
You're going with money?
Money, Mayweather all day, for real.
Anybody want to bet on who's walking Mayweather to the ring? Any bets on that?
Bruce Jenner is her.
No, I say Tiny.
Who? No.
That would be hilarious. What if it's 50? Because they made up.
Yeah.
50 and Bieber and Lil Wayne and Brittany
Jay-Z.
Griner. He just going into the ring with
The
real
terror-
G's.
the terror squad. The real terror squad.
Just the real G's. We all got nice hands.
I did read that 50 Cent was going to put somewhere around $1 million on the fight. He was picking Mayweather, so we'll see how that turns out. Could be a big day for him. I don't know what the odds are on this fight, but I'm quite sure that it probably, with it being in Vegas, a little tilted towards Mayweather. So I'm going to put you down, Truth, for Mayweather.
You got my money bet? You got that?
Oh, you want to bet some money? Okay.
Well, otherwise it's just vagueness in the air.
I'll take Pacquiao for $20.
Okay. Gotcha.
There
Thank
we
you.
go. $20. Big Ken, you want to get in? We'll check you out later.
I can't buy nothing with $20. That good stuff costs at least $50.
Oh man! Well, before I let you go, Truth, I have to show you this. Dakota State coaches out doing this dizzy drill. Let's see this video of these coaches and. If you're not watching the page, there's two coaches with like a stick on their forehead. They have to turn around and some stuff.
Oh my God. This is so funny.
The coaches look like they have to turn in a circle with a stick, drawing circles on the ground. And they spin around. I guess that was like 20 times.
Yeah, they do that in like kids relay
we used to
races.
do that for real in life. That was our entertainment. We would drink and then spin our son around.
And then they try to
crack up.
They're at football practice. They're trying to get the ball, and both of them actually fall down and lose their balance completely. Just having fun with the kids.
Party
nothing else
tricks.
to do out in Dakota. What part of which Dakota is that? North,
South.
Dizzy Dakota.
Dizzy Dakota.
It was Idaho.
Oh man, we might have to try that out in the parking lot, man.
No, thank you. I mean, we could try, but not in the parking lot. The parking lot's all gravel and stone, and
we
fall
gotta-
down
we
on
gotta
my
be
face.
stoned to enjoy that.
Madison, South Dakota.
Madison, South Dakota, at the University of Dakota. Well, no, at the Dakota State.
And nothing else to do.
University. Yeah, I guess.
There's nothing.
What's that population of Madison, South
The
Dakota?
football team, 50.
Right, I was going to say.
The 40 guys on the team,
Yeah,
plus the coaches.
And that was actually the interview for the head coaching job. If you can spin around in a circle.
It's 6,500.
6,500
is the population.
Right. Of the school or the city?
That is the city.
6,500 people.
Inbreeding in full effect.
Oh man, Haines City is bigger than somewhere, man. What's up? What's up with that? Let me claim my set. One last note: the lady that designed that fabulous Las Vegas sign passed away at the ripe old age of. Her name was, Betty Willis. That lets you know her age right there.
Betty
Willis. She was 81 years old. She designed the sign in 1959. So for any of you people, the neon white sign that says fabulous,
welcome, fabulous Las
Vegas.
Was she getting residuals for that?
Excuse me?
I said, where's the man that took credit for it?
The man that took
Yeah.
This is the man's part! But
here, I designed the Las Vegas sign. Hey, somebody get the dame out of here.
She probably with Bugsy Siegel or somebody out there.
Hey, you're a really creative broad. Somebody get her a drink and sit her down over there. Just look pretty, doll.
They did talk like that, which is very funny. But she passed away, 81 years old, which would have made her about 25.
When she designed
it? What is that, 55, 56,
There's still hope
26
out there.
years old.
Wow.
If you do the math.
If that's not pioneering, in an age where most women were
same sign. I mean,
where most women were just marching for equality with voting. She's designing signs for Las Vegas. So
the Las Fabulous. She make me want to go take a picture by it now, so I can say I was out there. What part is it? Before you get to Old Vegas?
I'm not sure where that
because I don't think I've ever
is
seen
now.
it before I went from the airport. It must
I've never been to Las Vegas.
You know when you pass the Wynn and the Encore on that end, and it starts getting like going back in time, you think you're like back in the future.
Yeah.
And you start thinking, what part of Vegas is this? Like, I guess that's what
They still have ashtrays in
the
hotel
hangover
rooms.
guys were when they were at that pawn shop. They were in that old part of
Excuse
Vegas.
me, mister, you want to buy a paper for $0.25?
No, ma'am, I don't. But Truth, thank you for sitting in
My
on the show.
pleasure.
Me and Big Kenny will try to take it home from here. We're going to go to break. Coming up in the next hour, Major League Baseball scout, Todd Harris will be on the show. Lil Wayne bus gets shot up. Adrian Broner gets arrested. And much more coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. It is 11 o'clock. We are here until the noon hour. We're 2 hours deep. It is Monday. It is the last Monday in April the 27th. Big weekend of sports coming up. NFL Draft, Kentucky Derby, mega fight. Also on Saturday, which I'm quite sure a lot of people will be watching. Ticket prices are anywhere from $5,000 to $250,000 to see this fight. The tickets that they did release, every sport has to open up to the general public a certain set amount of tickets sold in like 60 seconds or 2 minutes. That's how fast they disappeared. I don't know what the amount of tickets were for the venue. I do know it's at the MGM Grand. I know that it would be packed to the rafters with people all weekend, all week. And hopefully it will live up to that kind of fight for us to enjoy. The Truth, Miss Jemison has stepped off. It's just me and Big Kenny going to sail this ship home. Birthdays before I bring on Big Kenny. Last week, Tony Romo, 35. Jack Nicholson, 78. Catherine Webb of Auburn, who's married to Aaron Murray. Not Aaron Murray. What's the quarterback from McCarran? And they like that, from McCarran from Alabama. Chipper Jones, 43. John Isner, 30. Marshawn Lynch, Beach Mode, 29. Al Pacino, 75. Sad Entertainer, 51. Jet Li, 52. D'Angelo Williams of the Panthers, 32. The Bionic Man. Some of y'all might be old enough to remember that show. Lee Major, 76. Book writer Michael Moore, 61. Kelly Clarkson, 33. And the man who most people consider the greatest power forward ever in the NBA, Mr. Tim Duncan, had his 39th birthday. Other industry news. Willie Nelson announced that he will be launching his own brand of marijuana. The 81-year-old will be growing and selling in Colorado and in the state of Washington. Willie's Reserve. One of the men who only bigger than Snoop. He's bigger than Snoop, known for his marijuana use. Will be selling his own brand of marijuana. I don't know the potency, but I'm quite sure it will get you at the heights that you are reaching. The National Cannabis Industry Association dropped actor Tommy, from Cheech and Chong. They said that he still represented that old stereotype of weed heads, and they want to get that stoner stereotype. So they fired him because they wanted to see more positive, that it's not a stoner drug. I guess it's sophisticated like drinking wine. I guess when I tried it for my first time on my 81st birthday. No, I'm just messing with you. I plan on ever smoking weed. I don't understand what y'all be doing. Don't look at me like that, Massengill. You're high right now. Well, man, I knows a lot about rolling and blunts and roach clips and all that kind of stuff. The funny man, Big Kenny, welcome back to the show, sir.
Many days I could have smoked a bong. I just never took the time. But I was always getting high.
Is that a Willie Nelson song?
Yeah, my take on Always on My Mind. But he forgot, so. And you know, just because people have a point of reference for what it feels like to be high doesn't mean that they're high right now. I know personally, my high has worn off since I got here. So
2 hours of this, it wore off.
But it's interesting that Willie can now not only be an advocate but profit from the growth and sale of marijuana. So it's got to be a sign of the times when someone who, like a Willie Nelson, is now profiting from the growth and sale of marijuana. And marijuana used to be sort of the symbol of counterculture. Now they're firing somebody because he's not mainstream enough to represent pot, which is just big businesses involved now.
Yeah,
it just goes to show.
Because my first thought of Cheech and Chong is getting out of the back of one of those vans with the carpet in it and a lot of smoke.
Right.
And it was like they were doing something wrong.
Right.
They want an image of smoking is not wrong.
Right. So who are they going to get now? Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Bill Clinton.
I inhaled one time, but Barack inhaled too.
Yeah.
I smoked at a party. Sure did. I sure did.
In breaking news, Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavs, we showed you the injury. He will be out 2 weeks with a dislocated left shoulder, which means that basically the next opponent, which probably I think is the Washington Wizards, would be Chicago. Okay, the Bulls would be who they take on next. So he will miss that whole series, but usually a series.
This man's bone was poking through his shoulder, and he's only going to be gone 2 weeks. What kind of voodoo medicine are they practicing on this guy to repair him that fast? Well, you can yank a bone out of the socket, and they go, take a couple weeks off. And then he comes back, and he can snatch rebounds and all of this in the NBA.
Well, like I said, it was his non-shooting arm, which probably helps that. If it had been his shooting arm, they probably would have said longer.
It's his non-shooting arm, so it's cool that it just dangles while he plays basketball. At least it should at least be in place. He doesn't have to do anything with it. I just don't want to see it flopping around.
No, I'm saying, you know how if your quarterback gets sacked, you're hoping that it's not his throwing arm.
Right.
Because if it's his throwing arm, you know he can't come back.
Right.
If he's, the other arm, hey, we can do something about that. We can
tape it to his chest.
Yeah, we can hold it down for you. So I think that if it probably would, he might be out for the playoffs if it was his actual shooting. He's right-handed, and if you see the film, he's grabbing his left shoulder. And Paul Millsap of the Hawks had a similar injury, and he came back in like 2 weeks. Because it healed fast. I mean, it's different medicines nowadays, so. We'll see how that affects them. It definitely lets LeBron show that he is worth everything. If he can get through Chicago without his third asset, when you think of the big three up there, you think of LeBron, Kyrie, and then Kevin Love. A big task ahead of them if he has to conquer Chicago without Kevin Love, which is another motivational place to be.
It's interesting that Derrick Rose sat out what was about a couple of years in total trying to recover from an injury. Then he started playing, injured himself, and within what seemed like not even a fraction of the time, came back from that injury and is now looking like the old Derrick Rose. So what do you think changed with his physical recovery, or was it more of a mental recovery?
I think it was mental. I think that if you watch him play, he's still aggressive, but instead of trying to get to the rim, you'll see him pull up now. So it used to be, I beat my man, I'm going to go all the way to the rim and try to get the layup. Now you see him do what a lot of players usually end up doing when they've taken a lot of hits, finding that little mid-range jumper or that little floater. And it could just be that, hey, I've had enough injuries to realize I'm not really in control. So instead of trying to not get injured, just play. And what happens, happens. Sometimes that is the case where you've been off your game because you've been so worried about getting hurt.
Right.
that you lost your game. So, sometimes it's just like you said, he's back to playing aggressive. Be that guy until you get hurt. Don't try to be something else to stop, because you're hurting the team trying not to get hurt.
Right.
In his situation. So, Chicago, I want to say they play tonight after the Hawks play Brooklyn in Game 4. Chicago plays, because I don't think they swept. Who knows the schedule tonight? Nobody? No, not to ask the mediocre producer, because he don't know anything about it. So I'll look up that tonight. Who's the 3 games?
He'll be
tap.
watching Downton Abbey.
But we're going to go to break. We come back. Major League Baseball has been off and running for 3 weeks now. We're going to check in with our man, National League Baseball scout, mainly with the Dodgers, Mr. Todd Harris, and see what he thought of A-Rod's first 3 weeks. Yasiel Puig getting hurt, and see who he thinks is going to win the fight on Saturday night. Who do you have? Manny Pacquiao, Pretty Boy Floyd, and will it match up to the $1 billion that is being generated? $90 for pay-per-view. That's $11 more than the usual pay-per-view. And don't forget, $1.50 connection fee. We're going to have to get that, so don't be surprised when they ask you for that. Back right after this with more of the Sports Joc Show.
Whether we like it or not.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. Hawks Nets at 7 tonight. Milwaukee and the Chicago Bulls at 8, and Memphis Grizzlies against the Trailblazers. Memphis going for the sweep in the Game 4. Chicago trying to finish off Milwaukee in Game 5. And Atlanta is up 2-1 against the Brooklyn Nets in Game 4. All those games are tonight. Before we bring our man Todd Harris on, Barry Bonds' obstruction of justice conviction was reversed by the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. In 2009, they had said he was perjured himself. They have now since reversed that ruling. Go Barry Bonds. Maybe get in the Hall of Fame now, where he definitely deserves to be. As I said, baseball, 3 weeks into the season, some new stories, some old stories, and some failed stories. We wanted to talk to our man Todd Harris, Major League scout for the Dodgers. Good morning to you, Todd.
Good morning. How's it going, Big Wayne?
Oh, it's going great, going great. Let's start out with the Los Angeles Angels. They have traded their man Josh Hamilton back to Texas. Good trade, bad trade? Who wins, who loses?
Oh, I definitely think Anaheim wins in this trade when you've got someone in a scenario like that since he's been there, I just don't think a lot of things were set up in order for him to kind of succeed there. So I think going back to Texas is actually going to be a good move for him. Just the fact that knowing, hey, somebody said that, look, we're getting rid of your tail and we're sending you back to where you came from, is going to be a good motivating factor for him, I think, going down the road. But obviously, I think it's a win-win situation for both of them. But if I'm Anaheim, I'm definitely glad I got out of that deal as far as dealing with Hamilton at this particular point.
Your Los Angeles Dodgers have placed Yasiel Puig on the DL. How serious of an injury are we looking at here?
I don't think it's as serious as people. I don't think it's as serious as it is. I think it's a long season. I think they kind of being really, I think, anything precautious at this particular stage, because he really hasn't been on the DL. Now, he's had little nagging injuries that kept him out of games here and there, but I think that they're just trying to prolong, you know what I mean, and keep him for the whole entire season, just so he can kind of get it healthy at this particular point and then kind of be able to move on. But I don't think it's as big of a deal as people think it is, but I think it's a good decision by them kind of going forward.
A-Rod, no bigger name in baseball over the last 8-10 years. This past weekend, hit home run to 659 to help the Yankees go past the Mets in the old Subway Series. Did you see this coming? Because I didn't, that A-Rod would be playing so well this early.
I'm gonna be honest. A couple of things that I'm gonna have to eat a little crow because I did not think he would have this much success. Now, in the beginning, now don't get me wrong. I thought he would just at certain times, you know what I mean, go on a week or so where he has a pretty good week, and you know what I mean, and then kind of go down a little bit. I think the telltale sign is when you're about 40-something, and I think in July, mid-July, August, and some of those, I think that's when he'll probably struggle a little bit. So I wouldn't say I'm surprised at him playing it fairly well. I just didn't think he would. You know what I mean? Being off a year, I just didn't think he would. But one thing about that cat, I mean, the one thing that I do love about A-Rod is that I think he believes in his ability way more than anybody else is going to believe in. And that's part of the deal as far as about him and why he's been successful, because he believes in his ability. And he's kind of proving everybody wrong right now.
Looking at A-Rod, what is the protocol for his drug situation with the league? I know how the NFL handles it. Is he required at any moment to do a drug test, or is it a particular day of the week? How do they handle him in this situation?
In his scenario, it's whenever they want to. You know what I mean? They say it's random, but I think the organization has certain protocols too that they want to make sure that they meet and make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do. Now that's supposed to be a random deal where, you know what I mean, they can kind of randomly do that. But if you've been quote unquote in his scenario, they can kind of come get you at any time as far as that's concerned. And A-Rod's, because the repeat kind of quote unquote offenses. But like I said, a lot of them scenarios he wasn't really proven guilty of anything in a lot of them. So, but he's, you know what I mean, they're going to drug test him whenever they want to drug test. He's got to do it as far as that's concerned.
Todd, Sports Joc spoke earlier about the High Court overturning Barry Bonds' obstruction of justice. A-Rod is now PED free, and he's playing at a very high level. It was probably some of the best baseball he's played recently. Is this going to change the perception of these guys and maybe help them with their legacies later on down the line?
I think it can't do anything but help, just because as a purist as far as baseball, don't get me wrong, these guys deservedly, when they do decide to hang it up, should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, because they're, you know what I mean, they're life-changing or decade-changing players. Now, with just the regular players that you know what I mean, may not get as much publicity as them, but obviously I think, you know what I mean, it's going to come into play with them and not be a good scenario for them. But having this happen, I think it's a good sign as far as for those kind of guys going forward, because, again, Barry Bonds' ability, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as far as that's concerned. I mean, he's the first ballot Hall of Famer just based on talent and ability, what he played with. So it's going to help going forward, I think. Now, it may be 4 or 5 years on down the road, but I think it will help a lot.
Todd, big loss up in St. Louis. Adam Wainwright out for the rest of the season. What do the Cardinals do to replace their ace?
If Big Wayne, if I had to say any major league club that can you can be replaced, it would be the St. Louis Cardinals. They just make it a point to have a rich farm system, and I don't know how they do it. I guess it's just something in the water up there. But they're going to have a great staff. They lose pitchers, and another guy just steps in and that you ain't never heard of, and he'll eventually be, you know what I mean, a 15-game winner. They just do a great job in that organization of not getting too high about things and not getting too low about things. Is he a big part of what they do? Yes, but if one club can kind of overcome this type of injury, I mean, it's the St. Louis Cardinals, and they just go out and win and just go out and get it figured out. So they got really a huge depth as far as in the pitching staff already, and they've got guys in the minor leagues that are just sitting there ready to go. So I don't think it's going to really affect them at all. And I wouldn't say that about, you know, a lot of clubs when they lose their number one, they're going to feel it. But this club, I don't think they're going to feel it at all.
Last question before I let you go. Well, second to the last question before I let you go. Why so long did it take the Yankees to give Bernie Williams some love?
That is I just think that he played in an era where you had the Jeter, where you had, you know what I mean, a lot of those guys that were all together, you know what I mean, they played at the same time. And the good thing about it is it was about 5 or 6 of them that all played together. So I think the lesser one out of the ones are always going to kind of get overlooked. But when you have Jeter, you know what I mean, and the closer, Rivera, when you have them two, they're going to dominate the press, I think, as far as that, because of what they used to bring in and day out. I just think Bernie was a great player, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think that he gets the recognition like those two other guys, like Rivera and like a Jeter, where it's just going to take them a little bit longer to finally get the spotlight on him where he deservedly needs it. So, like I said, I think it's the situation where he just get caught up in the numbers, and there's too many great Yankee players that's just finishing up their career right now in that era that he played in.
Todd, last question. The fight Saturday, you have a favorite, Pacquiao, Mayweather?
I got to go with Money Mayweather. I got to go with Money Mayweather. One question I did want to ask you, Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Look it up. Adrian Gonzalez challenged a reporter to race him because the reporter kept calling him slow-footed. I want you to challenge somebody so I can see a foot race with you and somebody that's playing in a professional football.
Me? No. Me?
I knew Big Kenny was like that one. I knew Big Kenny was like that.
I save all my running in case of emergency. I don't just do regular running anymore. But
Todd on that Willie Nelson special reserve.
Money Mayweather. All right, Todd. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon, sir.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Man, National League Baseball Scott Todd Harris. So you going with Money Mayweather?
Who you going to challenge to race?
Nope. Ray. Me and Ray. We can race down the hallway. Once. Yeah, that's all I got in me too. Once. I might have to trip you down though. No? You gonna run barefooted?
I'm getting tired thinking about y'all running. You know what I mean?
Bernie Williams finally getting some love from the Yankees, inducted into their Hall of Fame. Go out and get Bernie's Jazz Rock Fusion CD. I don't even know what that is, Jazz Rock Fusion. I guess it's like...
It's like Bruce Jenner before the change. It's just a bunch of stuff together.
We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. You know, we've been talking about this mega fight between Mayweather and Pacquiao. Word is in Mexico, the fight will be free to everybody. The whole country will be able to watch on Mexican TV the fight for free. Go Mexico. That cocaine money, you know, free fight.
And why everyone
it's me. They got 50 heads in a duffel bag, but it's me.
And while everyone is watching the game, we will give 50 million tons of cocaine across the border. While you watch the fight, we will make ourselves billions of dollars.
That's nice. They don't do that here in the U.S. I mean, we don't get nothing free. They even made you get cable. Took the wire off the TV. You know, can't even get no free station. So what is it? Viva Loca? How do they say that? Oh, no, something like that. Tacos.
Living la vida loca.
Well, they doing it.
Living la vida coca.
That's the best thing you've heard out of Mexico in years. You know that.
What? Free fight.
Something nice. You know, non-deadly.
Yeah, a place where they got 50 heads in a duffel bag. That's what you need. Free violence.
An off-duty police officer down in Albuquerque says he's witnessed John Jones, the UFC fighter, fleeing from a hit and run on foot. They are still looking for Mr. Jones. He hit a woman early morning. She was injured. She's 20 years old, and she is pregnant. Jones is 6'4", 205 pounds. Cops searched the vehicle that he left, allegedly. It was a rental car, and they found documents with John's name on them. Now, I guess he will probably claim that maybe it was somebody else driving his rental. Maybe is that because if I'm in a rental car, I know you're gonna know who I am, right? It's not like
well, I'm guessing if he has to say that it was someone else, who are you going to find to take the fall for you for hitting a pregnant woman?
Well, he's a cage fighter. I'm quite sure he just started threatening people. No.
So now you can take assault and hit and run, or you could just deal with the hit and run. I don't know. Maybe it's been reported that he had checked into an outpatient rehab facility for substance abuse. So maybe he wants to cop to his hit and run, but he just didn't want to be under the influence when they got it. So,
yeah, when I read it, I figured he must have been trying to avoid that part because that's that. But
because that
also makes it worse, though.
That ratchets up the charges.
Yeah, but leaving the scene.
He could say I was disoriented. I didn't know I had hit anything. I had gone to get help and had bumped my head. There's a lot of plausible, or at least beyond a shadow of a doubt type questions that you could insert into that process when you're not there. But if the cops show up and your blood alcohol levels through the roof and you got cocaine in your pocket, then there's pretty much no denying that.
Y'all don't know who y'all arrested. If y'all did, I'd be on the news right now. Those are the words of Adrian Bronner when he got arrested back in January 11th, 2015 of this year. He got pulled over around 1:30 a.m. in his white Mercedes and started bragging about, if you knew who I was, you would let me go. Let's see Mr. Bronner trying to talk his way out of this arrest.
Your proof of insurance?
I got it, but I don't got photos.
You don't have the what? All right, go ahead and step over here. Step out. Don't make me get you out. Get out of the car. I asked you out. You get out. 1896, please stop out me.
For you that are not watching, Adrian has got pulled over by a lady cop. He gets out the car. He's shorter than her.
Have a seat in the back. How much you had to drink tonight? I doubt that. Your speech is slurred.
She starts walking into the back of the
Yep.
So what's the problem tonight?
What's the problem?
Yes, ma'am.
The speed limit's 25 and you're doing twice that. Okay? And then you're driving in the middle of the road on top of that.
That's okay.
Okay, that's not okay. And then I ask you to get out of the car and you look at me like you're not going to get out. That's not how it works. You understand?
I will do whatever you want me to do.
No, you didn't do whatever I wanted you to do till I told you didn't have a choice. Okay, I'm not going to put up with you being disrespectful. You understand?
I apologize.
All right. Look down at your feet, count your steps out loud. Walk heel to toe, and once you start, you can't stop. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, start whenever you're
Well,
ready.
she's giving him a sobriety test. At some point in this video, he starts bragging about who he is and how much money he has made.
Can I call somebody?
When we're done, you can call someone to come get you, okay? All right?
I'm not even drunk.
All right.
That's crazy.
I didn't say drunk. I said impaired. Hands behind your back. You want to take those and put those in your pocket so I don't scratch
Can
them?
I give them to her?
Put them on the hood and I'll give them to her. Are you okay with that?
Can I give them to her? I don't.
He's going to give them to her.
You can
Okay,
cut
I'll
it,
leave
Ron. I don't know what part of the film where he goes to brag about himself, but that is the video. Big Kenny going 50. Sounds like he's driving under slurred speech, failing to follow commands. Why would you think he would get around to the bragging part?
It's obvious he makes wise life decisions. he's just really impressed with himself and how well he does with navigating challenging situations. I don't know. I guess when you're a boxer, or if you have that type of reputation, at some point you revert to what has gotten you all of those trappings, the money, the fancy car, all of those things. Look, I got money. I'm a tough guy. You ain't got nothing on me, kind of. You know, it's obvious all my begging and pleading, I'm not going to get away.
Right.
So I might as well go out like a tough guy now. So because nothing really seems smart about getting arrested.
I just see that when you start doing that to the police officer, you're definitely just escalating it. You're making them feel like I'm telling you that I'm above the law, and I think all of us know that's probably the number one way to antagonize a law enforcement person, to start telling them how you should be doing something different for me.
But it is because of a pattern that has been established of celebrities using their status to get off. Look at people like the LeBrons. He's getting police to escort him down the wrong way of an interstate. You know what I mean? For that kind of stuff. Not only is that illegal, but now I've got the police helping me do that. So why wouldn't Adrian Bronner think that he could drop his name and his celebrity status and get some preferential treatment?
LeBron wasn't drunk. LeBron wasn't driving. Me calling the police officer that I might know who told me to call him, if he ever needs something, is different than me speeding down the highway trying to get out a ticket. Police escorts, off-duty cops, things like that. So for somebody that loves to run his mouth, you would think he would know when to be quiet. Adrian Bronner arrested. We have to see how this case ended up. Bo Bikes Bama coming up this weekend. It's another thing on the schedule. He does his annual bike ride through at the state of Alabama, as Big Kenny has protested to this morning about how beautiful it is.
It is very, very beautiful
to ride around. I don't know which stage Bo is going to ride. I've seen him lately. He's probably just going to do the 22 miles and not the 62 miles. I don't know if at 51 years old he can sit on that bike that long. But there's two parts of it. The longer part starts earlier in the morning, around 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and the later stage starts about 10 to raise money. I think this year it's going for like the tornado victims and things like that. Bo Bikes Bama. One thing I want to ask you, because y'all are computer people, right? Any of you have the Apple Watch? Y'all poor computer people? How much is the Apple Watch? Well, that's the same as your phone, though. But doesn't it act like a phone? Is it me? Do we have a picture of it? You can talk through it, right? Like Mr. Spock and them. Hey, how you doing? Oh, you have to have the phone too. So you have the watch and the phone. Oh, cool. I thought it was a replacement for the phone. Then why would I need it?
Because we've convinced you that it's necessary.
And these are the different options right here. They all right. They look like Timexes. Not a lot of look to it. And you just what else can you do with the watch, real quick? You can do anything. Just tell your phone what to do. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well,
for people who don't like holding their phone when they're taking their eyes off the road, so you just look at my wrist now.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a phone replacement. That's why I thought people would be big on it. I thought it was like Damn it, Scotty. I'm not, no, that's not it.
It's just
We'll be back.
we've hypnotized you to want to buy it.
With more of the Sports Joc Show right after this. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. I'm sitting here with the funny man, Big Kenny. 1984. 1984. Long time ago. The Air Jordans. Well, at that time, they were not even Air Jordans. They were called Air Ships. Sold at auction. $71,553. These shoes right here fetched. For you enthusiasts, the Air Jordan didn't actually become a shoe until 1985. The first Air Jordan was released. They cost $65 30 years ago, which I guess is equivalent to the $200 it is today. No, it's not. It's lower or higher? Some of that's market.
Was that the actual pair that sold?
Yes.
The scuffed up. Who did they come from? Who owned them? What made them so valuable?
Mike owned
Oh, they
them.
were okay. They were Mike.
Yeah, 71,553. They were second biggest price that's ever been for a pair of Jordans. Remember, in 2013, the flu game shoes went for $105,000.
Right.
Back in that day, so you might want to keep and hold on to your rare Jordans. They might be worth something one day.
They're worth $1 billion to Mike.
People Magazine voted Sandra Bullock the most beautiful woman of 2015. Sandra Bullock, the 50-year-old nobody's agreeing with Sandra Bullock, and she adopted a baby, right? Well, it's beautiful that she did that. I think that's what they're probably saying, that a beautiful act of hers. No, Big Kenny?
I mean, is that what we're judging on now? Ooh-wee, look at her. She looks like she'll adopt. Is that what we're going for in women now?
I guess that's
going to put them on the cover of all magazines.
Tim Tebow, who signed a one-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles, is already making news in Philly. The Tebow pretzel is for sale. Can we see the Tebow pretzel? I think it's the kneeling pretzel. I guess you pray before you eat it. As you know, Tebow does a little kneeling down and his hand to his head, Big Kenny. That is the Tebow pretzel right there.
They've got the blood of Jesus, the body of Christ, and now the Tebow pretzel.
The Tebow.
So when you're taking communion, you just get a little Tebow pretzel.
And I'm not a big pretzel guy, but I thought it was going to be like a different color or something. They just kind of twisted. It looked like a kid was just in there messing around with the pretzel machine, and this one came out. And
they're like, look, if we can sell an Apple Watch, we can get away with a Tebow pretzel.
Oh, man. One of my producers, the mediocre producer, brought me this Rubik's Cube world record. He wants me to play this and comment on it. It was over in the Netherlands. Someone solved the Rubik's Cube in 5.25 seconds.
Nerd.
The formal time was 5.5. Let's see this video of watch quickly. It's only going to be 5.25 seconds. Let's see. If you're not looking at the page, there's two gentlemen sitting at a table. One has his hand on a box. I would imagine that the Rubik's Cube is underneath. He's going to lift the box up, and the competitor is going to grab the Rubik's Cube, and there's a timer behind it. I don't see the clock moving, though.
What?
Okay, stop it real quick so we can play it again. What is because he was able to touch it a couple of times.
From your first move.
So you make a move.
And it starts.
And then it starts.
Right.
Okay, let's go back and watch it one more time. So you get to make a move on the Rubik's Cube. And then the clock comes on. Okay. Wow.
Oh my goodness, Sports Joc. This is so exciting. This is just so exciting. Did you see the way he was focused and he just used all of his energies and channeled them into the cube? It was like they were one.
Hey, man, this is what he wanted to see. I don't want him to stop feeling like we don't love him. So we decided to show his stuff today.
They were symbiotic. It's as if he was part Rubik's Cube. I dream of moments like this. Sometimes I lay awake at night and I imagine, what if I could put a Rubik's Cube together in less than 6 seconds?
That is the mediocre producer. That's what thrilled him last week. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what every week when I come in, because I always like to make sure we have a lot of different personalities. I always ask them something.
A gold medal winning decathlete decided he wants to be a chick. And this is what stuck out to him in sports last week. Oh my goodness! What's this? Bruce Jenner's gonna be a woman. That's interesting. Oh my God, Rubik's Cube! This is amazing.
Have any one of you ever solved the Rubik's Cube? Not just one side, because I can do it like 2 sides. No, I mean, Massengill said that he has done it.
Oh my
when
God!
He was a kid. Okay.
Who hasn't solved the Rubik's Cube, Sports Joc? And in a related story, the guy who solved his Rubik's Cube in 5.6 seconds got his lunch money taken 13 seconds after this. Hey, you, nerd, come here. Oh, my God, I just solved the Rubik's Cube. Shut your face, nerd. Pow, give me your milk money. I'm going to tell the Sports Joc.
Oh, man. Marco Milicic, in celebrating, impressed people. He took his shirt off, and he drank an entire beer with no hands, Big Kenny. We're showing you a lot of different talents. Basketball player. He was first drafted by the Pistons. You don't have it? Oh, can we see? Oh, yeah, he was drafted behind LeBron James. He was the second pick of the draft. If y'all don't remember, they skipped over like all those people that actually matter. That's why you're looking like, who is Darko Milicic?
I know the name. I just didn't know he mattered like that.
No, he doesn't. That's what I'm saying. This is about the most famous thing he's done in his career. Let's see him. He's what is he? Hungarian? What kind of party are they going? They're doing.
Michael Samms is like, I didn't get no invite. So y'all just don't want to hang out with me.
If you're looking at the video, he has people tattooed on his stomach. He's giving them a little taste of the beer. I guess there used to be some fallen comrades. He's a tall fellow. Nobody's even close to his height wherever he's at.
He will fight Rocky Balboa.
That is Marco Milicic. I don't think he's in the league anymore, is he? He's a kickboxer.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he left the NBA.
That's a natural transition to go from NBA to kickboxer. That's pretty much the whole arc of an NBA career, right?
That's it. That's what I wanted to end up in the kickboxing, non-profit sport. Only other thing that happened here in Atlanta, Lil Wayne, somebody shot up his tour bus. 2 cars drove by and shot in his bus. He wasn't hurt, but I guess you antagonize enough people in that world, somebody will try to get some payback at some point.
You really got to make some people mad for 2 cars of people to go, hey, follow me, let's go shoot this guy. Okay.
He was leaving a club here in Atlanta called Compound. He was out at 285. Big Kenny, the moment of truth has come. Floyd, Money Mayweather. I think people are picking Floyd because they just like to say Money Mayweather over Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Who are you taking?
I'd like to see how boxing will be affected when Pacquiao wins. The power Floyd has, will that transfer? Will they try and have a rematch? Will it spurn even bigger proceeds later? So I'm going with Manny.
So basically the bigger story is Manny winning.
Right.
And how that
will affect
domino affects everything. I think you're right. That would be it'd be huge because then I guess you want to see Floyd almost begging for a rematch.
Right.
He's more likely to ask for a rematch than Manny is.
Right.
In a situation like that because he would want to prove that it was a fluke or something like that. I'm going to go with Pac-Man myself. I think that I would enjoy that story reporting next Monday. Then Floyd winning. I think that's the obvious situation. Last week, we're in the ocean. Yeah, we can do the ocean now. We've come to the end.
The truth is, he will throw your ass in the ocean. It's time to wrap things up on the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
Last week, the Sports Joc forgot to welcome somebody on his ship. Miss Ann over there, the iconic Miss Ann, 72 years old, passed away. The Ghetto Burger, 2007. The burger of the year, the Ghetto Burger was. I rode by a sign and saw that Flip Burger, a big franchise here in Atlanta, is even serving their version of the Ghetto Burger in a tribute to Miss Ann. That's how big a lady from a small little hot dog stand became, to where she almost killed me. So when I get to heaven, I will make sure I choke her out. Do you get kicked out of heaven? Yeah, no. But to Miss Ann, come on board the ship. Sorry you had to go, but if they're still serving that Ghetto Burger, many will follow you to those golden gates. But Big Kenny, the truth is gone. My producers, enjoy this great weekend of sports activity. We will see you next Monday. Peace.